Hi everyone, and welcome back to Extra Roly. Now, gosh, oh my, where do I even start with this video? So I have to say, first of all, I know I look a bit rough. I've not really had much sleep in the past couple of days. This experience has been absolutely wild. And I don't normally make videos like kind of delving into one specific area of tattooing, but this has to, I mean, I just had to make a video to try to explain to you as a little warning to people who might want to get head tattoos, a little sort of just information to anyone who's just generally interested, because I've had so many questions since revealing my sort of like neck head tattoo. I'm going to delve into the experience, the aftercare, how it felt, and just the bizarre feeling of the drill into your brain. And yes, so welcome to the channel if you are new, by the way. Hello, my name is Roly, piercing body modification weirdo ready here on the internet. This is my second channel where we do a little bit more unedited, we're a little bit more sort of laid back. It's, you know, it's just a bit more real, of course, than my main channel, which is a lot more, you know, intense and in your face. But welcome to the channel, subscribe. Wow, where the hell do I start? So yes, I recently, if you didn't see, I'll put like a little photo here. I did in fact get the whole of the back of my neck and halfway up my head tattoos, but it kind of comes up to about here. Now, I'll turn around and I'll show you what it looks like now. It's been, what, 5 days since getting it done. Now, bear in mind, I'm not able to shave like this part of my head. I am a baldy, and of course, not being able to shave parts of your head is very upsetting. I hate having any kind of hair showing, but of course for most bald people, I've lost most of my hair here, but the sides kind of grow, so the back does have hair on, so it might look a bit weird, but I'll show you what it looks like now. So it's 5 days in, so hopefully I can show you properly with it. Let me move myself to the center. There we go. I can show you properly and you can see what it looks like now. So this is what the back of my head currently looks like. It's sort of a bit scabby in bits, and it's just very peely. It's a completely different sensation to healing normal tattoos that I would have like the arms, because of course I've got lots of hair growth there, and it's just been, yeah, it's an interesting place to get done. So, but I think it's healing nicely. It feels good at the moment. I didn't really know how to prepare myself for a head tattoo, because some people were quite shocked that I was on my head because I kept saying that I wasn't going to do my head. But I think people have misunderstood what I was saying. I don't think I'm going to do here. This is always somewhere that I quite like it being normal, like empty. Never say never, there's always a possibility, but I always did say that I was going to go up the back of my head so that the neckline isn't just like a solid line. I think when you get things like neck tattoos, having, like if you just stick here, just kind of go round and just have like a solid line, I just think it looks a bit weird. I don't like how that looks. The same way that when I do like my waist and I go fully down, so most of my stomach is done now, but at the moment, it almost looks like a triangle, like pointing around to my genitaliers. So I'm going to put some things there to sort of blend the lines, so it's not like a solid line. I think when you do these kind of things and you fill a lot of your like body up, to have solid lines and sort of cutting it off, I feel like it just looks a bit weird. So I was always going to go up the back of my head. I didn't know how high I was going to go, but I was always going to go up the back. I think in my original plan, I wasn't expecting to go so high, but when I saw the design on the back of like the image that we were doing, I was like, do you know what, girl, let's go for it, yeah. And I absolutely love it. I'm really happy I made this decision to do it. I should probably actually say as well, so you don't know, I'm actually doing Doom on my next, so the game franchise Doom. I absolutely love, I mean, I love hellscapes, I love demons and demonic shit. Like I've always been really attracted to that sort of like spooky aesthetic. Most of the stuff on me is very cartoony in characters, so there was a few people who were shocked that I was getting something so demonic on me, and like more scary, I should say. But I've always loved the sort of gothic, macabre, evil, Satan, all this. I love all these things. Although I'm quite a lively, loud, colourful person, I do also love the macabre. So my neck is going to be Doom, and we based this character. So it's not going to be like copy paste of characters. It's almost like interpretations, because the artist that I have gone to, he's called Vinus. He has a very distinctive style that he's done for years now, and I was like, I want you to do my neck because I love the way that you do your work, but I want you to change the characters a bit to what, like, to fit your aesthetic. So this is what the character like originally looks like. So at the moment I've got a lost soul, and essentially they kind of these sort of like demonic heads that kind of like float around and sort of charge at you when you go near them. But so if you see the difference, I'll put them side by side here, you can see that there is a difference between how they look. But for me, I know what they are, but I wanted them to be in Vinus's style. I didn't really know what to prepare for and how to think this was going to be, because like with any tattoo, until you feel it yourself, it's very difficult to really explain. But I think things like arms and things, people have so many arm tattoos, it's really easy to find information about what your arm would feel like. It kind of just feels a little bit like a scrapey burn feeling because it's just on your arm. But when it comes to things like your head, it's a very difficult thing to explain to someone what it feels like to get tattooed on your skull. I got in and I was really, really nervous. I didn't really know what to expect. It was quite, I was a bit nervous, and I did walk in and I was like, hello, I'm scared. Because I've been tattooed so much now, and over the course of 3 years. So I don't get nervous with tattooing, especially even if I know it's a painful area, about like nipples. I knew when I got my left nipple tattooed, I knew it was going to be agony, but I wasn't like scared. I don't know. You just kind of stop getting scared about it, I think, as you get more and more tattooed. But with the head, I genuinely was like, I have absolutely no idea. This could potentially be the most agonizing thing I've ever been through in my life, because there wasn't as much information out there compared to other things. I took my like electrolyte stuff and all this shit, and I took all my, I have like a whole process of when I get tattooed. Maybe I'll get into that at some point. I'm not going to do it now, but like I have an entire process of when I get tattooed. I take basically the entire house with me, and I really prepare for everything, every scenario. So I did all my stuff normally and looked at the design, and I okayed it. We had to change it a little bit. Now, originally, we were going to have some of the lower jaw of the character as well, but just the way that it's fitted on my body, the way that the curvature, because obviously he designed it on like as like a flat surface, because of course it's difficult to design for like a neck when you're not actually with the person. But when we actually put the stencil onto my body, it just looked a bit weird, because of course my neck curves round, and then it kind of made it look like the body had been stretched out, and it was just a bit weird. So what we did is we ended up enlarging the image, getting rid of the bottom jaw, and then like having that there, and it just fit the area much better. Whenever you get tattoos, don't always think that when you see like a rough design before, that is how it's going to look. Tattoos can look very different when they're being designed and when they're actually on your body. Everyone's body is different. Like, someone like me goes to the gym, I have some shape to me. There's some like, there's shapes. So sometimes something might look good on paper, but actually when you put it on with the muscle definition, or, the shape of your body or curvatures or anything, all this stuff, it can look different. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, so that's why we had to change the design a little bit on the back of the head, but I love what we did. So we put the stencil on, I looked at it and I was like, yes, do you know what? Let's do the whole head as we were going to do. Like, he got me to sit up and sort of was like leaning over the chair. Originally, he did like little lines. And when you're doing that little sort of like jot, like the sort of sketchy line stuff, that doesn't really hurt, because most of the time they don't like push the needle in properly to get the ink proper. It's because it's meant to just leave like little marks. They know where to go. Some people call them bloodlines and stuff, but they're not actually how the tattoo is going to feel, because they're not fully like going into the skin like it should do, because it's not meant to be like it's just meant to be like a guideline rather than like a permanent mark. None of that really hurt that much. And I was like, I don't know, maybe it sort of calms me down, because I was so hyped up for it that like it didn't really hurt that much. And I was like, okay, do you know what? Maybe this would be actually fine. And then once he did all the little guidelines he wanted to do, he then went in like properly tattooing. And honestly, when I say this, I'm not just trying to be like, oh, he's an odd man, whatever. It actually wasn't that painful. If I was to rank it in my list of most painful areas, it would be number 5. My nipple is still number 1. My right shoulder blade is number 2. My waist and my ribs are like sort of 3 and 4. And this definitely goes to 5. It wasn't honestly that painful. There was awful moments, which I will get to, and which is why I want to make a video about this. But the whole neck itself, like the whole underside here, before you get to like the head, the real head bit, honestly, it ranged from like 4 out of 10 to about 6. There really wasn't much difference. It was honestly not that bad to deal with. I guess the skin is quite tough anyway. Normally, the places that you don't see the sun very often is normally the more painful. So that's why things like your chest and your stomach is a bit more painful as well, because the skin, it's not as exposed. Obviously, there's different nerves, but normally it kind of works out like if the place is kind of always in the sun all the time, or it tends to not hurt as much. So like the outside of the arm hurts less than the inside of the arm, for example, because like this is more exposed. That's just my experience, and that's how I've always felt. But I think like as a common thing that people say this. So the neck itself honestly wasn't that painful. There was, as you sort of went more to the side here, it got a little bit more. So I can imagine the front's going to be a bit more painful. But honestly, the back of the neck wasn't really painful. But along the top line, if I'll put like a little thing here, but like a circle around it, along this top line of my head. Now, I'm going to do my best to try to explain to you the sensation of getting this part of my head tattooed, but it's going to be very difficult. I couldn't really feel the pain, because the sensation of the vibration and the needle drilling, and it felt like it was in my skull, drilling into my skull, was so many different emotions. I cannot begin to tell you. What I will say though, obviously with the ears here, going along behind the ear, sort of behind this area, that actually really didn't hurt. If you actually just get your finger and kind of just push in that area, maybe pinch a tiny bit, it doesn't actually hurt. It's more the vibration against your eardrum. And it did make me feel a bit sick. And I don't know if maybe it's because, you know that they say that your ear is like balance. You need your ear for the balance. And there's a sort of like, they have liquid in your ear. There's like a thing in your ear where the bones are, whatever, that sort of keep you balanced or whatever. After that being like vibrated, it kind of made me feel a little bit dizzy and a bit kind of sick. There was a bit like nauseous feeling to having that done. And I think possibly it's because it was like interfering with like the whatever thing that keeps you balanced. I think maybe it was making that vibrate or something. And it made me feel a bit sick. But yeah, so along the top headline here, so how the hell do I explain to you the sensation of getting your head drilled? I could feel it in my brain. It felt like my brain was being shook and it felt wrong. And I think possibly because of the sensation of that was so massive, it completely masked any pain that I was feeling. The pain was just, I couldn't feel pain. It was like pressure and vibrations and just like a rattling. It was like I could hear it in my head. Did you ever remember in the 90s, there were these lollipops called sound bites? And essentially it was like a lollipop that you would put in like this little stick and you'd bite onto it and you put it onto your teeth. And the vibrations in the lollipop, you could hear music in your head. It was wild. I remember it was wacky. I'll put a photo here. And essentially like you would play music and you couldn't really hear the music until you bit onto the lolly. And like the vibrations would mean like you could hear the music in your head. I don't know how it works. I have absolutely no idea how that works. But essentially it was kind of like that. I could like hear it internally in my entire head, and it was just like intense so when like you hear like a drill outside going ba 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 ba, it was like that, and I could hear it like in my head to the stage where like I couldn't really hear music around me, and it was so intense that there were parts of it that it was making me laugh because of how like weird it was. Like I felt really incredibly itchy at moments and it made me laugh. And like even the guy tattooing, he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was like, it really weirdly tickles, like really intensely all of a sudden." And then suddenly it'd be really scratchy and then suddenly it'd be really vibrating. And then I was expecting as well, because of course it's your brain, it's Luxera lovingly called it the brain stem, like down the center, that like it was gonna cause lots of pain down like the sides of my body because it's the spine. And all of it was completely localized in the area, which just completely like bewildered me. There were parts of it, yeah, some of it made me feel sick, some of it made me laugh, some of it was incredibly itchy, some of it was like just a weird sensation that it felt wrong. Like, do you know, how do I explain like a wrong feeling? When I say wrong, I don't mean like he's doing it wrong, but it's like a sensation that like it feels like you shouldn't be feeling this. It's like if someone was to put like a little hole in you or something and put their finger in and they started like moving your intestine, that would feel wrong because you're not supposed to feel those kind of sensations inside your body. Like that's what I mean by how it feels wrong. Like it felt wrong, like I shouldn't be feeling this feeling inside my head. It was very strange. The whole process was very strange. But we did sit. I did I think about 7.5 hours, and we did the whole section. I didn't take many breaks because honestly, as I said, the pain genuinely wasn't that bad. Like, especially because, you know, the majority of the tattoo is on my neck. So that's where the most of it went. So most of the time I could just sit there and like, eventually I did lie down flat. Genuinely, the pain of the tattooing itself wasn't that bad. And I could have easily sat for longer. And also, I think there was a little part of me, because he's from Lithuania and he only comes to the UK a couple of times a year, I was like, I want to make the most of this as I possibly can. So like, I think probably I sort of powered through a bit more than I normally would with the tattoo maybe. But genuinely, it wasn't that painful. But the sensation of that drilling into the back of my head, I am glad that I don't have to go through that again. I mean, maybe if I end up getting this done, I don't know, but that was wild. And I don't think I'm really doing a great explanation of like explain to you what it felt like. Unless you've gone through it yourself, you will never truly understand. That was utterly absurd. And like, yeah, because there's moments where it was making me laugh, and people, like, there was a few other people in the studio as well, and they were all like confused why I was laughing. And I could not explain to you, the little horn bits here, the little horn bits that go up the side, it genuinely tickled. It was like an intense tickle feeling that I couldn't stop laughing when he was doing it. And I'm not trying to be like wacky Keith and I'm quirky and I'm black. Genuinely, it was like really itchy and tickly, and it was making me laugh. And which seems obscene to be like I was laughing getting my head tattooed, but it was like someone was like intensely tickling the inside of my head. It was so weird. I'm actually in a weird way glad that I experienced that. I always kind of say this about with some of the tattoo pain, like when people get numbing cream and stuff, like I'm actually glad that I experienced nipple tattoo pain. So I really get an understanding of what that felt like. And yes, after he tattooed over my nipple a few times to like get the ink in, we used some Bactine to sort of numb it a little bit because it was really painful, but I was able to at least experience what it felt like. And the same with my head. I'm actually glad that, I mean, I wouldn't use numbing cream anyway because my skin's really sensitive, but I'm really glad that I experienced what that actually feels like, and I have an understanding now of my body and what's something that not many people really would have felt like, having that drilling sensation in your head. I don't know, it's very interesting. So today is day 5 and I do actually have a lot more movement now. It still feels a little bit more tight here, but I do have a bit more movement, and this is the first day that I've really been able to kind of move. I don't think it'd be as bad if you just had one section here done, because it's on the back, it's like connected to like both sides. So no matter where I move, one part of it is kind of getting pulled. But I've had to basically sort of sit like this for a while. I've not really been able to move, and sort of like I can't like I've not really been able to turn my head very well. I've not been able to kind of like move. Like now I can again. I've got more movement now. I was originally going to film this a couple of days afterwards, but I was like, do you know what, let's leave it a bit more so I have a bit more of an understanding. The healing process of this has been very difficult, and I haven't really been sleeping. Last night was probably the first night that I actually got like a full night's sleep. For the first few days, I just wasn't sleeping, because every time I'd move or just a tiny bit of like adjustment, it would wake me up because it was really painful. I've started using Second Skin again. I didn't use it for a long time, but I started using it again. So what I do is I come home from the tattoo appointment. I'm normally wrapped up in like a nappy diaper pad thing. It's like a piss pad for like dogs and things. Nicer names for some of the things, but essentially it's just like a piss pad. And they wrap it up in it. And I sleep with it. And then the next day I have a shower and then I'll put Second Skin over the area. I will say my neck has been a lot more weepy than other parts of my tattoos. I don't normally weep this much. So the second day when I put the Second Skin on, normally then that just stays on for like 3-4 days. However, I actually had to take it off in the evening because my neck was still quite weeping. Like a lot of the sort of plasma and ink was coming out. That's been very difficult. So by day 2, I just took the Second Skin off and I was like, I'm just not going to bother with it because it's just too annoying having to keep taking it on and off. And I don't want to irritate the tattoo by like taking it on and off, because it can be quite, it's quite aggressive. That's been quite frustrating that I wasn't able to put my Second Skin on. Also, of course, I haven't been able to shave the back of my head. When you are bald, it's fine. But if you don't shave your head to the stage where you're back to the stage where it looks like you're balding, that's when you start to look old. But of course, if I like turn my head here, you can see where the hair kind of stops where I haven't shaved, because I just don't want to mess up the tattoo, because there are bits of like skin still attached. Just 1 or 2 little like harder, like not full on scabs, but like almost like scab-like where the skin's sort of like a bit harder. And I just don't want to shave over that because I don't want to rip that off and damage the tattoo. This is something that I'm trying to be I'm not saying I'm lazy with my tattoo aftercare. Obviously I'm not, because I take care of everything. But like this one, I'm being like almost like I've never had a tattoo again. I'm doing everything like perfectly as it should be done. Everything. No skipping. No being like, oh, I'll do it in a minute. And I'm like, no, I have to do it right now. Timestamps, regimented. So I want to make sure that it heals as perfectly as it possibly can, because I don't want to have to keep like going over that section again. At least like in the near future. Of course, tattoos naturally touch ups over your life, but hopefully I won't have to do anything extra, because like it's very normal for like, if you especially have color work, by the time it heals, you might notice 1 or 2 bits of the ink has come out. So I'm trying to do as much as I possibly can to not have to do that. So yeah, I'm kind of doing everything exactly to like the perfect T. Also, I found it to be a lot drier compared to other parts of my body. Getting this part healed, the skin feels drier. I feel like I've had to use a lot more moisturizer. And I don't know if maybe parts of where the tattoo is on my head is like the hair itself, because the hair is going through quite a lot now. I think maybe some of the hair is absorbing the moisturizer, so it's not like going into the skin and in the tattoo. The hair is getting rid of some of it, so I think possibly that's some of it. But definitely like along this bit here, like along the neckline as it goes down, I feel like I've had to use more moisturizer than I normally would, and I guess it's maybe just the skin type of where it is. But I've had to use more moisturizer, which is interesting. I've also found it to be a lot more like sensitive and sore. So I think maybe just the neck is just one of those interesting areas that tends to be a little bit more problematic when it comes to the aftercare. I guess as well, because the constant moving, it's obviously a lot harder for the tattoo to sort of like settle with things like my arm. Although like, yes, my arm's here and stuff, like this part will move sometimes. But when I got this tattooed, like, even when I move my arm, it almost like moves all together. It's very rare that this part moves like individually. I guess if I was to like, I don't know, I'm not trying to flex or whatever. Like, I guess if I was to like move more, it might move. But even still, doing all of this, it still kind of stays still. Whereas the neck, it's like any kind of movement like that, and it all just kind of moves, and it's very sore. So that's not fun. But you know, I'm very, very happy with the result. I still don't know whether I'm going to get my actual head tattooed. I always said that like I didn't want really anything on my head, but seeing this halfway up, it's given me a little bit of like a, oh, do you know what? Maybe. But like one thing I can certainly say that's never going to happen is my face. I have absolutely zero intentions of tattooing. I really do not like face tattoos. I just think because of the contours of your face, it's very difficult to kind of make it look good. I just don't like them. I just don't like face tattoos. So I know that I'm never going to do that. My only issue with like doing my head is you kind of have to like then do some of the sides, because if you don't do that, it kind of it'll look a bit weird if like you've got tattoos like along here and then like nothing here. But again, I don't know if I want to do, I'm not sure. Maybe in the future at some point, but my neck is the priority for that at the moment. The whole process has been a lot to deal with. What I will say as well is it definitely used a lot more of my energy than normal. When I get tattoos done, and I've got more, like, although obviously this is a big piece, when I go to see Vulcan, do like my back, we're doing my back at the moment, I think out of all three of the tattoo artists I'm using at the moment, he'll do like the most, because we do 2 days in a row. So the amount of tattoo work I get done with Vulcan, we do massive sections in one go. And like, I still feel tired for a couple of days afterwards, but like I'm fine. I have to say, even though this is like this probably in the middle area that I've had for like size wise, like the amount we've got done in one go, the head tattoo has really, like, it really knocked me sideways. It definitely made me feel a lot more exhausted over the next couple of days than any other of my tattoo sections. So I would say, I don't think this is a neck thing. I think it's a head thing. I think if we just stayed on the neck area, I don't think I would have felt the same. I think because it was on my head, I definitely feel like it maybe impacted my, I guess, energy levels, body, immune system more than maybe what a normal tattoo would. Like if it was just the neck, which I find interesting. I really want to know, actually, anyone now that I have more of an understanding, because I did ask in a video a little while ago when the guy was getting head tattoos, like what's it like to tattoo your head? Now that I've got like some understanding, I think obviously this will still be very different than like the back of the head, but I still feel like going over here the way that I have, because I've gone quite high and down like the brain stem. I feel like I've done probably one of the more intense places part of the head to do. But if you've got any, like, please let me know if this experience has been any similar to you. And if you are planning on getting head tattoos, take this as like a, not a scary warning, but just like a warning that it's not the most enjoyable experience, but it will also be enjoyable and weird, and just every emotion you could possibly have in one go. It all kind of blend into one, and it can be a little bit overwhelming and very interesting. Very excited about having like something actually truly demonic and having that side of my personality represented, because although I'm a very upbeat, positive person, I do love the macabre, I love the demons, I love all that kind of stuff. Hence why I always wear like a Baphomet necklace. I don't have it now, but like I wear like lots of, I love demonology and all. I just love all that stuff. Obviously, I don't believe in anything. That's nothing to do with religion. Like, I know some people might think it's like demonic and you shouldn't be doing it because it's like, you know, anti-religious. Also, it's the furthest from religion you can become. I just like the imagery. I don't care like all about all this stuff because I don't believe in any of these demons and shit. I just love the imagery of it. But yes, it's been an interesting experience. And I truly cannot express to you the feeling of getting your head drilled. It's wild. It's so strange, but I'm very, very happy with what we did. I'll link Vinus's Instagram in the description. And of course, if you're in Lithuania and you want to get tattoos, you know, hit him up. He's incredible. He's also very, very kind to work with. He's very, you know, I've known him for a little while now. The reason I know him is I actually follow him. I followed him on Instagram for years because I saw one of his like pieces that he did. And at the time, I didn't know that he was friends with my tattoo artist, Hyro, who does like my arms and stuff. I didn't know that they knew each other. And I was like, what a weird world to be in when I found out. But what happened was Vinus came and guest starred in like Hyro's tattoo studio. And of course, Vinus never posts photos of himself. So I didn't realize when he came in that it was him. And so he did this tattoo on a client that he was doing in Hyro Studio. And he then posted the tattoo that he did that day on his Instagram. And I was just, because obviously at the time I was getting my arm tattooed, so I had one of my other arms free, and I was just scrolling through his Instagram page. And that tattoo just came up that he had just done. And I was like, wait a minute, this is you. It was so stupid that he was a bit sort of like embarrassed a little bit. And I was like, oh my God, this is you. I was like, I don't realize that you've been here this whole day. I've been following you for ages. And then we just like, started chatting and stuff. And I've seen him multiple times now in Hyro Studio over the years since getting tattooing. So this happened like right at the start of my tattoo journey. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I just need to get something done by you. So the way that the stars aligned, that, the person that I really wanted to get a tattoo from just happened to know the tattoo artist I had in London, even though he's from Lithuania. And they guest stars in his studio. Like, wild way how it worked out. But yes, I'm very, very happy. Oh God, yes, I'm very happy. It's just, I'm excited now to be like, I know it's interesting because tattoo attention is very intense, right? Especially like if you've got things that remind people of something. If you're someone who's got more generic tattoos, I don't think you'll get as much attention because people see it all the time. So like, not to keep bringing them up, but like if you've got like a lion clock watch, no one's going to stop and be like, oh my God, that's so incredible. Some people might, but like you see that stuff all the time. If you've got really common like Pinterest tattoos, people aren't going to really give you attention. When you have things that remind people of stuff, or even if you've got like more generic, but it's like really incredibly done, like the artwork is so unbelievably beautiful, especially color tattoos, because color tattoos aren't as common as black and gray. The attention you get is very different and intense. But I think this is going to be very telling now to see what type of attention I get, because not only is it like colorful, it's like the closest I've come to like actual realism, and it's demonic. So I would love to know what kind of attention I'm going to get now, especially because it's a neck head tattoo as well. It's not like just on my arm. And when I get this done as well, it's going to be very telling now to see how my life interactions with people change. I'm kind of excited to see, although I moan sometimes about some people like being rude, but I'm very interested to see how it goes. I think I should get this part done either in August or September. So not that long away. He said that he was going to come back. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, if it ever gets to a stage where he's like really busy and he's like, I'm not going to be able to come for a year, I will just go to Lithuania. It's fine. Like that can be done. It's fine. We'll figure something out. But if people don't, I don't know if people know, I do have a big hole in my ear now. If new people here, I've got a big little conch punch. I think I will just go to Lithuania if I really need to. It's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. In the grand scheme of things, it's not that far away from here. It's not going to take too long. I'm not going to America. But that'll be a last resort thing if he's not coming. But yeah, August, September time, he said he's probably going to be back again. So I'll be able to get this side done. But yeah, the interactions I have with people now going forward, I think will be very different, because neck tattoos, which is why I tell people, like, whenever you're young and you're just getting things like neck and hand tattoos and stuff, like, it really does change how people see you and perceive you. And again, this isn't me dismissing bad behavior. It's just reality. You have to just accept that this is just reality. It's not that it's good or bad, and things eventually will change, but we're still not at a stage where like having huge neck tattoos is completely like non-issue. People will still see, especially if you get things like, I'm going to get like demonic stuff. If it's more like generic, like if you've got like a big rose or something, like I don't think you're going to get the same reaction as if you were to get a huge demonic demon. I think you're definitely going to get different reactions, especially because like people like to equate demonic things with like Satanism and like, but I mean even just Satanism itself is a complete misunderstood religion. But like, people are going to see it as like demonic and evil and blah, 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 blah. So I think, again, the reactions are going to get very different. So if you're going to get a neck tattoo, people will see you differently. People will act differently. But I am kind of excited to see what it will do to people's reactions to me now when I get that done. Oh God, yeah, I've wanted my neck tattoo for so long, but because of the moles and things, I was really kind of putting it off. But I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Get on with it. Go. But yes, we're going to do this one next, and I'm not going to show you anything about what we're going to do yet. I'm going to leave that as a little surprise. But yes, very excited. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope this has been, I just kind of wanted to ramble. You said you really liked the slightly less edited versions of my last video. Did really well, the brain rot content. So you said you guys enjoyed that a lot more. So yeah, thank you for the love and support on last week's video. And yeah, I'm going to try my hardest to keep, now that I don't have to worry about editing so much. I mean, this will be a little more edited because I've tried to make points. So I have to kind of make sure I'm concise, but I really want to do a video about my physical media downstairs that I have, like horror movies and stuff, and do like a thing about my favorite films and things. People always ask me what I'm watching and stuff. And also just, I would like to chat about physical media. But yeah, I guess I'll see you soon. And maybe the next video will be completely healed and I can move like a normal individual. Oh my God. I'm actually going to go, after I upload this, I need to go and play the new Doom game. Actually just got released yesterday. So I want to go and play some more of that today downstairs and just have a bit of a day off because I've been working non-stop basically for 2 weeks now, except for getting the tattoo day. I've been working. So I've got so much going on recently that like I needed to do everything so much. So I'm just going to have a day off today and have a bit of fun after I've done this. I just want like a relaxed day for the weekend, because I'm going to Bournemouth to go see my friends River and Aaron. I'm over at their house for a couple of days, and they have like a big Eurovision party, and we're gonna just like chill out, and I'm back on Monday. So anyway, yes, another if you missed yesterday's video on my main channel, by the way, I did a new TikTok reaction to just random unhinged nonsense. And then on Monday, we're gonna have another tattoo TikTok one. So I've got loads of them filmed. So I'm kind of starting to using them, but still gonna get so outdated. Anyway, be fabulous, amazing, be gay, be everything you want to be, and don't let any bitch out there say that you can't be wise at, because you are gaping.